Hey everybody, today's video I'm going to talk about using your right hand when you're comping and what the benefits are of using your fingers and your thumb as opposed to the pick and the fingers. Now there are guys who do it very well, don't get me wrong, but I just want to talk a little bit about feel and how if you just use the fingers and thumb you can get a little bit more of that natural feel that a drummer would get. So check it out. Okay, let's take a look here. So I'm just going to play a comp here with my right hand. So I'm using thumb and forefinger and middle finger. And these are exercises that you can do on these kind of chords where you're playing, the root, 7th, and 3rd. But if I'm walking up, you'll notice that when I use the thumb to walk, even if I'm doing something like this, or there's a motion happening here with my fingers and the thumb. Now there are guys that play with the pick and then the fingers, and they do this where the pick is kind of going down and they're grabbing the rest of the chord with this. There are many examples of guitar players over the years who have done that. But I speak from experience with myself and also with Joe DiOrio. Joe used to do that a lot, but Joe found that using the fingers, and he actually studied with David Oakes from USC to better his right hand technique to be able to play that way, because he was never really that skilled at it and it took him a while to get it, but he talked about how better a sound and feel you get. And for me it's less about the, okay, is it pick or fingers or whatever, but my point is that like a drummer would do, there's a certain amount of ghost notes that happen with this part of your hand. And if you notice, there is this thing happening when you're, even if I'm not playing, and I'm just playing arbitrary stuff, but you can see and hear that the fingers are ghosting the strings. Even when I don't play a chord. So when I'm doing this, that motion that's happening here with my right hand is very important with the thumb. And you get a nice spring off of it. So if you can, if you haven't already been, years and years of, using the pick and the fingers, try to get the thumb to be a part of that whole mechanism, to have it move with, because the way that the hand is built, it's an automatic thing. It's like the natural movement of the fingers with the thumb creates this feel. And the way I would equate it is if you look at a drummer using both limbs to create a feel, or his foot and his hands, that contrast of those two things moving together. It's kind of like when you walk with your 2 feet, you have to move one after the other, and that rhythmic motion is very important to the way that you move. And it's the same thing here, that rhythmic motion of me taking my fingers. And I get a nice spring. I'll turn a little bit to the side here so you can see a little bit more. I'll go slowly. You can see that this motion is just moving regardless of what this hand is doing. And this is the ghost notes that are so important to creating a feel, because when you're swinging, man, you want to have those triplets, those ghost note triplets moving inside of your feel. And if you can get your thumb and fingers to do that, you're going to get so close to the actual feel of what swing is. More so, I believe, than with your fingers and your pick, because there's a certain amount of like limited motion that you have when you've got this, and your fingers are kind of like this. You're locking this finger up, which doesn't allow you to get that natural feel in the hand. Check it out, see if it works for you. If you struggled with the fingers and the thumb, this is a good exercise to slowly just play a chord like G7. And you can see that I have that ghost note too with the thumb.